Good evening, Bahamas, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Shasheena Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news as the countdown to the Bahamas' 40th anniversary of independence continues, the local committee has embarked on a mission to educate the Bahamian people on the history of the country through a lecture series. On Friday night, residents from around the island gathered at the St. Mary Magdalene Anglican Parish Hall in West End to learn more about the rich legacy of the country's first Prime Minister, Sir Lyndon Oscar Pindling. Sabrina Brown reports.
After the Progressive Liberal Party's majority rule victory in 1967, Tourism Minister Obi Wolshcombe says former Prime Minister, the late Sir Lyndon Pindling, immediately moved to unite all Bahamians.
He said, "We have won for all the people." And I hope my white brothers and sisters understand our victory is for all the people. The point was very simple. If you're going to build a country, think about what Nelson Mandela eventually did when he became free. He didn't divide. He brought the people together. Think about it. Had he taken another position, all black, total destruction, push the UBP out, destroy the economy, destroy the country.
Minister Wolshcombe described Sir Lyndon as a wise political leader who, during a financial crisis when other countries were devaluing their dollar, ensured that the Bahamian dollar remained at a high rate.
And he did it to ensure that, one, tourists will continue in the Bahamas because we had tourists, investment will continue, and the investors would come with equal dollar, and that the Bahamians will always be on the border of great wealth.
Grand Bahama holds great significance in the history of Sir Lyndon's reign as Prime Minister of the Bahamas. He was criticized for his bend or break speech he made on the island back in 1969, noting that Freeport did not have a soul and needed to be bent or broken.
He was ensuring at the time that this island, that had tremendous promise, that was a part of Freeport, which was created in 1955, August 4th. He was ensuring at the time that Freeport would not become that place where you would live in townships, because if you read the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, it speaks of the residents of Freeport, and then it speaks of the townships beyond the Hawksbill Creek. In other words, the townships, the same townships you heard about in South Africa. You weren't supposed to be a part of Freeport. You weren't supposed to work in the hotels. In fact, it was Sir Lyndon and others who took a strong stance against the Maltese and others who worked then at the King's Inn.
He said Sir Lyndon was a strong proponent of education and low-cost housing, but his greatest accomplishment was the establishment of the National Insurance Board, which is now a safety net for the country. Wolshcombe also recalled the close relationship between Sir Lyndon and founder of the Free National Movement, the late Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield, and how they worked together towards majority rule.
In 1967, we forget this also. Yes, it is true, he led the PLP as the chairman. But more importantly, if Sir Lyndon could not make it back from London in time to nominate, he had the papers ready to nominate Sir Lyndon. So how close they were. They were in a movement for change, nothing to do with personalities. It had more to do with the heart and the soul of the people.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Well, Sir Lyndon's son, attorney and musician Obi Pindling, gave a brief presentation of who Sir Lyndon was as a family man.
Even though Daddy may have been Prime Minister for 25 years, that is never anything that he brought inside the home. Inside the home, he was Daddy, he was Mommy's husband, and he was nothing else within those four walls. And as difficult as it had to have been to be a father while he was Prime Minister, I'm the father of two children, and I'm just a lawyer who plays some music as well to keep my mind sane and as a nice hobby. I don't know how he was able to do it with four of us and to run a country.
He said his father would not have been the great leader that he was without the Bahamian people.
All of the public stories and national importance that, my father takes the credit for, I can tell you without a shadow of doubt, and I say this to people all the time, you don't say Prime Minister for 25 years without the support of the people. And if it wasn't for people like you and many others around this country, Daddy would never have been the person he was. So for that, I say thank you.
Now tomorrow we will take a look at the life of another great fallen Bahamian leader, Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield. In other news, Grand Bahama's unemployment numbers just went up a notch. 8 persons employed with city services, a local building and contracting company, has been laid off this past Friday. We spoke with Cornelius Williams, Personnel Director of City Services, early this afternoon via phone. He explains why these persons had to be let go.
We were doing some work at the shipyard. We're also doing some work at the Buckle at the moment, but all that is being finished. Now, there's a possibility of us getting another job with them sometimes, but I don't know exactly when. It's not a question of being fired or anything. It's just laid off, so we had to look through the ones that come in after all the other people, and we had to cut them because you couldn't cut the other people who've been here for years and years.
Now, Williams adds that those laid-off persons were temporary employees who were made up of laborers and skilled workers.
We paid them off on Friday, but they would get their vacation money or whatever the amount is today as soon as they pick up their check. See, these people, some of them, like, only been here for about 4 or 5 months, and we tell them when we hired them that this wasn't for any long time because we was just doing a small contract at the moment.
Well, he admits that an additional 4 persons may be laid off this week as well. In news from the crime beat, police say they need your help in identifying 2 men in connection with an armed robbery on Sunday night. Reports say 2 male residents were allegedly robbed by these suspects when they were walking through a track road off Wildcat Avenue in the Coral Reef Estates area. Now, according to police, the 2 male suspects, armed with a knife, robbed the victims of their cell phones. Both culprits were described as being 6 feet 2 inches tall, wearing a black long-sleeve pullover with black jeans pants. One of the culprits was wearing a black cloth around his face, and the other was wearing a green color ghoul mask. Anyone with any information is being asked to call police at 350-3107 or 8 or 911 to assist officers of the Central Detective Unit as they continue investigations into this matter. And also from police, they are investigating a stabbing incident that has left a 17-year-old male of West End in hospital. According to reports, around 1:46 this morning, the juvenile was involved in an altercation with another male at a club in the Western community when he was stabbed in the back. Police say he is currently listed as guarded in hospital. Investigations are continuing. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.